Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Volume 4, Episode number 3 of the NFL Talk Series Team-by-Team Previews. Today on the show, we are going to be previewing the Kansas City Chiefs as we near the end of the AFC team previews. Tomorrow, we are going to have, most likely, our final AFC team preview in the San Diego Chargers. However, there's a chance that I may take another one-day hiatus from this due to some preoccupations. So I'll let you guys know, but we're moving along very quickly, almost halfway through the NFL, so it's pretty exciting. After the team-by-team preview series has concluded, I am going to go back to doing once-a-week podcasts, so just FYI, you're not going to be seeing them every day. I've been totally going nuts with my podcasts, with my recording over the past few weeks. Things are going to slow down come September when football season starts. We'll have maybe once a week podcast. All right, but I do have a poll update because I just released a new poll and we are dead even. Dead even, and I thought this one was sort of going to be a runaway victory. But I know there's only 14 votes because I just released this. But the poll is, who will have more sacks in 2016? Khalil Mack, linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, or defensive end for the Texans, J.J. Watt? There have been 14 votes so far, and it's dead even. We're literally tied. 7 for Mack and 7 for Watt. 50-50. Is the current score. I thought that Watt would get a runaway victory on this one, and I know things are early, but at this point, it's going to be a close poll. It's going to be a tight one. So as always, this is the fourth poll I've released. You can vote for them all on Google+, on the Google Plus page. That's where I'm uploading all my polls. Been sharing them to social media, so you can check them out via Facebook and Twitter, too. But vote for them on Google+. You can join the community and vote who will have more sacks in 2016, J.J. Watt or Khalil Mack. The polls, I've decided, will conclude, I think, at the end of August. I think that's what I'm going to say. So all of the polls are going to go final at the end of August, even ones that have been just released the week before. All the team-by-team preview polls, they'll be final at the end of August, so don't forget to keep voting on them. Also, if you guys haven't checked out at Tinas Music Show, who's this week's Twitter follow, check him out on Twitter. And keep in mind that I have been having to delete some podcasts from Spreaker and move them on over to YouTube. Some of my latest podcasts, A Crack in the Bell, Sideshow Special, Josh is Back, all those are on YouTube now under the NFL Talk with Caleb Steindale channel. So check them out. I had to delete them from Spreaker. Also, the Super Bowl 50 halftime report. Not that you're necessarily going to want to listen to that, but it's there too. And then finally, before we kick things off, I am tentatively planning a second YouTube Live mock draft. So far, we've got around 30 views on my first one. This time it's going to be an auction draft. So I'm tentatively planning that one for next Sunday. Not this coming Sunday, so that'd be the 28th, I believe, of August. I'm tentatively planning one for that day, so I'll keep you updated, but that's when I hope to have my second live YouTube mock draft. So, stay tuned for that. Alright, kicking things off today, Kansas City, and really the Chiefs are hard to evaluate because it's been sort of difficult over the past few seasons. They have a quarterback that is really hard to figure out in Alex Smith. I mean, to be honest, a lot of us, we don't really know what kind of quarterback he is. We haven't been able to say. He's not really injury-prone, I wouldn't say. I really can't tell if he's more of a running quarterback or, a pass-first quarterback. His stats just have fluctuated over the past few years. Look at his, primarily number of carries for Alex Smith. Starting in 2015 and going backwards. 84, 49, 76, 30. 52, 18, 24. They just fluctuate all over the place. At least his carries do. His yards passing have remained steady over the past 3 seasons with Kansas City. Smith is just a hard guy to figure out. He's not a media man. And it's just difficult. The Chiefs in general are difficult. An Alex Smith-Andy Reid pairing isn't something that the media loves. As for him in fantasy, I think his consistency, his low-end consistency makes him a difficult player for me to draft. He's a guy that has a low ceiling, but a somewhat high floor. That's literally the definition of consistency in fantasy sports. Alex Smith last year, 307 of 470, 3,486 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. I will give him this. Over the past 5 seasons, Alex Smith has not thrown double-digit interceptions. And that's a bonus. So if you're looking at Alex Smith, he's a safer play, I guess, but there's not really that much of a chance for huge games. We just don't see it from him. Jamal Charles, on the other hand, has been an outstanding fantasy commodity for the past, well, for a long time. But he hasn't been able to stay healthy. That's his Achilles heel, is health. He cannot stay healthy. He played just 5 games last season. 71 carries, 364 yards. Worth noting, however, that Jamal Charles has never averaged fewer than 5 yards a carry in his entire career. That is crazy right there. Don't think about that too often. He's never averaged fewer than 5 yards a carry in a single season for his entire career. However, he's also only eclipsed double-digit touchdowns once. I am not a Jamal Charles fan this season. Because if you're asking my honest opinion, I think he's going to get hurt. Charles hasn't played, well, I should say he has played in all 16 games just once in the past 5 seasons. Just injuries. He's been decimated by injuries throughout his career, and I don't think it's going to get any better necessarily. According to RotoWorld, he practiced yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago, because you guys are listening to this Thursday. He practiced Tuesday, got in some work during mini camps, but didn't see any action in training camp after opening training camp on the PUP list. Also, according to the site, despite returning to practice, it's likely Charles is limited for most of the rest of the camp and would be surprising if he saw any preseason work. Even so, he should be 100% well before week 1. Look, the Chiefs would be absolutely idiotic. It'd be totally idiotic for them to even consider playing him in the preseason at all. You've already got a guy who struggles with injuries, who's been injured, it seems like, every single season for the past few seasons, and there's no way you're going to play him in the preseason. No way. You're not going to throw out that risk. He's your best player by a mile. He is the guy that has the ability, when healthy, which is a big caveat because it almost never is, but he has the ability to carry your team. And without him, their playoff chances are slim to none. And I would err on the side of none. They have to keep him healthy. Their success is literally riding on Jamal Charles. There's no other way to put it. Can't remember if it was last year. No, it was the year before, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, because Macklin broke... Macklin, I think, broke the streak. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, because Macklin caught 8 touchdowns last year. The year before, when the Chiefs' receiving core was awful, Alex Smith did not throw a touchdown to a single wide receiver last year. The emergence of Jeremy Macklin, he caught 8 touchdowns last year and also broke 1,000 receiving yards. I do like Macklin because my argument for Macklin is there's no one else on the team for him to throw it to in the wide receiving core. You got Travis Kelce there, but who's he going to throw it to? Albert Wilson? Chris Conley? Jeremy Maclin is the number one receiver, and not by any stretch of the imagination are Conley and Wilson going to make themselves viable, which means that Jeremy potential double coverage consistently, I think, but he's also going to get targeted the most. Last year, he had 72.5 yards a game, had 3 games of 100 or more yards, and scored 8 touchdowns. He also eclipsed 1,000 yards. And last year, he was the number one receiver by a mile as well. This year, there's not really all that much change. And Alex Smith is the consistent type. He's going to be able to get the ball to Maclin. What are the stats for Wilson and Conley? Albert Wilson, 35 catches, 451 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then, pulling up Chris Conley's here. Chris Conley last year, 17 catches, 199 yards, and a touchdown. I do like Travis Kelce because he's sort of going into the season underrated. But the Chiefs recently signed him to a 5-year, $46 million extension that keeps him on the team through 2021. The Chiefs like Kelce, and I think that he'll be involved. He only had 5 touchdowns last year. I think that people overestimated how many touchdowns he had. Didn't actually realize that it wasn't a super high number. He'll be a solid tight end. I don't love him, but I don't hate him either. He's sort of in the middle of the pack. That second tier of tight ends behind Gronk. Obviously, I like guys like Greg Olsen and Jordan Reed better than him, but he's there. It's really the best way I can think of putting it, and it's not that good of a description. But with our time running out, it is time for my X Factor and record prediction. And I do both of these on the fly. Well, I have an idea for the X Factor, but pretty much every day my record prediction is on the fly. I'm looking here. Obviously, the Chiefs got to play the Broncos twice, and I know the Broncos aren't the greatest thing anymore, given their the offseason they've had. They also got to play the Panthers in Carolina. Other than that, it doesn't look like they're going to have that tough of a season. However, I don't think the Chiefs are a great team, to be honest. And I think that Jamal Charles is going to get injured and miss some time this season. I think they're going to go 9-7, which is not going to be enough for a playoff berth, because I've already given my 2 wild cards away to the Bengals and the Texans. But also the Raiders win the division, I think, at 11-5. So 9-7 is going to be just short. Chiefs miss the playoffs. And the X factor is Jamal Charles, because will he stay healthy? Will he not be able to stay healthy? That's the big question. We just don't know. That's why he's the X factor. Uncertainty is the number 1 trait to look for in an X factor. Jamal Charles has that. We just don't know. But when healthy, he can carry the team all the way. I truly believe that. And we've been able to see that, too. All right, time to wrap things up. Thanks for listening to this episode of Team by Team Previews. I'll let you know about if I'll be taking a break or not tomorrow, but we'll be previewing the Chargers next and almost halfway through. We'll see you guys tomorrow on NFL Talk.